Hello everyone, today I am going to teach you how we can create Java Spring Boot CRUD application with MySQL database, and we will also see how we can upload images. Okay, so let's start. So firstly I am going to open my browser, and here I am going to open Spring Initializer website. Okay, so this is the website of Spring Initializer. Here we will create our project. So firstly you will get this project section. So in the project section we have to select Maven here, and in the language section you have to select Java, because now I am using Java. You can select any languages, but for now you have to select Java. Okay, and in the Spring Boot section you have to select the Spring Boot version. Okay, so I am using this version because okay, so use this version for now. You can select any version from here and just mention group, artifact name, description, package name and packaging. Okay, and this package name is the identity of our project. Okay, you can write anything here, and in the packaging section just select jar, and in the Java section you have to select the Java version which is installed into your system. Okay, so for now and in the dependency section you have to select some dependencies. So just click on this add dependency button, then you will get this pop-up, and here I am going to search some dependencies. So I'll use Spring Web dependency because I am creating web application. So just select this Spring Web, and again I'm going to click on this add dependencies button, and again just click on this Spring Boot Dev Tools. Okay, if you are not getting here, then you can search from here. Okay, so just write Spring Boot, Spring Boot Dev Tool. Basically this dependency is used for rerun our server. Okay, and again I'm going to click on this add dependencies, and then we will select this Spring Data JPA. Spring Data JPA create connection between MySQL and Spring Boot project. So I am using this. Okay, and again I am going to add some dependencies like Lombok. Lombok I am using because it removes boilerplates of codes from our project. So I am using this Lombok. And one more dependency we have to use MySQL connector. Okay, MySQL driver, because we are using MySQL. Okay, into our project. So just everything is fine. Now I'm going to click on this generate button. So our project is generating, and here you will see our project is downloaded. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this folder. So just you can see here our folder is here. Now I'm going to extract this folder. Okay, so click on this extract, then you will get this demo folder. Then inside this demo folder we have our project. So just copy this folder or cut this folder and paste into any directory from where you are going to use your Java project. Okay, so I have a folder Java project. Inside this Java project I have pasted my recent project demo app. Okay, so this is the generated project. Now I am going to open this project from Visual Studio Code Editor, but before this you have to, if you are using VS Code Editor, then you have to add some extensions. Okay, like Java extension pack. Okay, so you have to install this Java extension pack. Okay, and you will have to also install one more extension, that is Spring Boot extension pack. Okay, if you don't have, then you can install this, and after installation you have to restart your Visual Studio Code editor, and then open just click on this open folder, or you can click on this open folder from this file. Okay, and just select your project. Okay, so my project is available inside desktop, and here is one folder, that is Java project. So just open that Java project folder and then select our project. So our project is demo app. Okay, so I'm going to select this folder, so just click on this select folder, then you will see our project is here. Okay, and in the right bottom section you will see this command failed ambient version. Okay, and you will also see opening Java project and it is syncing. Okay, so means our Gradle and all necessary files are downloading. Okay, so wait for some times. Okay, after that we will use this project. Okay, so this is the pom.xml file. Here you can see all the dependencies which we have added. Okay, so you can see here inside dependencies. Okay, in the right section you will see this pop-up to enable, so just click on this enable button. Okay, and in the pom.xml file you can see here, like we have added MySQL connector, so you can see here this dependency added, and similarly you can also see this Lombok dependency we have uh, added. Okay, Spring Boot data JPA. Okay, Spring Boot web, Spring web dependency is also there. Okay, so all dependencies available here. Okay, inside pom.xml file, and in the src folder you have to open this main folder, and in the Java folder this is the main function. This is the entry level of this project. Okay, when the project will run, then firstly this method will call. Okay, and after this I'm going to show you one more folder that is called resource, and inside resource you will get this application.properties file. Inside this file we have to mention all the configurations like MySQL configurations. We can also write our ports and all. Okay, basically this is the work of this application.properties file. Okay, so firstly I'm going to write the configuration of MySQL connector, but before I'm going to open MySQL Jam server, MySQL Jam control panel. So I have already downloaded Jam control panel, Jam software. So just open this control panel and start Apache and MySQL server from here. Okay, if you don't have Jam software, then you have to install into your system, then you will get this Jam control panel. Okay, so you can see here Apache and MySQL started successfully. Now I'm going to close this. Okay, and then open your browser and then write localhost and then slash phpMyAdmin. Okay, and then hit enter. So you can see this is localhost phpMyAdmin, and here the list of databases. So we have Rose Kharido database. So now I'm going to, if you don't have any database, then you have to create the database. So just click on this new and then write your database name and then click this create button. Okay, so the database will be created. I have already created, so I'm going to use this database and the table. So I'm going to drop this table. When you will create the database, then you will get this type of database, and now there are no any tables. Okay, so finally I'm going to write the configuration of this Spring Boot application. So just write these codes, okay, into your my just write this code into your Spring Boot application. Okay, so inside application.properties you have to write this port. You can write any port number here. So I'm using this 9091 port, and then inside database URL you have to mention this URL. Okay, and this is the port number of your database. Okay, and this is the database name which we have created here. Okay, so just go here in the local host php myadmin, and this is the database name. So this database name I have mentioned here. Okay, and in the username you have to write username of your MySQL database, and in the password you have to enter the password of your MySQL database. So I don't have any password, so I'm not entering anything here. Okay, so just save this and close this. So this is the configuration, and now I'm going to create the folder structures of this project. So firstly, just click on this app and then click on this new folder option, and then here I'm going to create one folder, that is model. Okay, so I have created multiple folders like controller, model, repository, request underscore response, service IMPL. Okay, so firstly I'm going to create one model. Okay, so the model name will be block model dot java. Okay, and then enter this. So you can see this is the java class file, and here we have to import. Okay, so just write data. Firstly we will import data which is available inside this lombok to prevent from boilerplates of codes. So just hit enter, and then after this data we will use no arguments, no args constructor, and all args constructor, and then import table and then mention table name here. So I'm going to use table name as blocks. Okay, we are getting error over no args constructor and all args constructor because we have no variables now. Okay, so firstly I'm going to create one variable. student id, sorry, blog id, and this will be the type of integer. Okay, so you can see no errors now. And here we will use id, and make sure this is importing with Jakarta persistence. Okay, and before this id we will use generated value, and inside this generated value we have to use strategy, and then write generated type dot identity. Okay, because this id will be auto generated as primary key. Okay, primary id. So after this I'll create 2 or 3 more variables like blog title, description, and image. So here, if you mention this column name, then the column original name will be blog underscore title. If you don't mention, then the column name would be like blog title. Okay, so here I am also using column, and the name would be like blog id. Okay, so similarly I am going to write one more column. So the another column name would be blog underscore description, and the private string blog description. Okay, so I've created multiple variables like blog id, blog title, blog description, and blog image. And we don't need to create getter and setter because we are using Lombok. So these will handles our getters and setters automatically. Okay, so now I'm going to save this, and now just run this project. Okay, and firstly I'm going to show you this database. Now no any tables available inside this database, and just run this application. So just click on this demo application.java file. Okay, and then at the right top section, you will get this play icon. So just click on this icon, and now here in the terminal you will see our project is running. And you can see here our project is running on 9091 port. Okay, so, and now I'm going to refresh this localhost php my admin. Okay, sorry, I have done some mistake. Okay, so I didn't mention uh, this model as entity. Okay, so just import this entity also, and now I'm going to rerun this project and then refresh this. So you can see here one table created, and the table name is blogs, that we have already mentioned here. Okay, the table name is blogs. So here you can see multiple columns available like blog id, blog description, blog image, blog title. Okay, blog id, title, description and image. these fields are are appearing there. Okay, now I'm going to close this terminal and then close this blog model and close this file also. So our next step is to create a repository file. Okay, so this is the repository folder. Here I'm going to create one Java class. So blog repository, and this is the type of interface. Okay, and we have to extend jpa repository. So this will handle all the database operations like create, read, delete, update. Okay, so and it takes two parameters. So first parameter would be uh, model name. So our model name is blog model. So I'm going to copy this blog model and then paste here, and the second parameter would be like id. Okay, blog id, and the blog id data type. Okay, so the blog id data type is integer, so we have to mention integer here. Okay, first parameter would be class name, blog model class name, and the second parameter would be the type of id. Okay, so now I'm going to close this. So our next step is to create service class. Okay, blog service.java, and then here this will be the type of interface. So just select interface, and then here, okay, I'm not going to write anything. Okay, here, and after this blog service, I'm going to create one more class inside this service impl file. So here just write blog service impl dot java, and this is the type of java, and here we need to implement this blog service class. Okay, and inside this service impl uh, dot java class, we will write all the logics. Okay, like create, read, delete, update, all the logics we will write here. Okay, so just save this, and now I'm going to, okay, so firstly I'm going to use this blog repository inside this service impl. Okay, so just write public and then blog repository, and then blog repository, and just create constructor of this repository here. So just click on this yellow bulb, then you will get this generate constructor option, then click on this and then click on this OK button. So you can see one constructor created here. Okay, and here we have to write service, we have to import as service, and this is necessary. Okay, so just save this, and now I'm going to close this. After this I am going to create one request file. Okay, blog request file. So just click on this folder and create one file. So blog, now I'm not going to create request file, I'm going to create the response file. Okay, so just write blog basic response dot java file. Okay, and here we have to write data, we will use lombok here. Okay, all args constructor, no args constructor, and then we have to mention some parameters that will be common on all responses. Okay, so just write private boolean and then status, private string message, private object, and then this will be the type of data. Okay, so these things will be common on all responses, so I have created this and I'll use on all API calls. Okay, so now just close this file. Okay, and now I'm going to move to our controller, so just click on this controller folder and create one Java file. So block controller.java. Okay, and here just select class. Okay, and this will be the type of REST controller. Okay, and after this I am using request mapping here. So request mapping is API. Okay, so this is our constructor. Now I'm going to create a method to add block. Okay, so firstly I'm going to use public and then write response entity, and inside response entity we have to use this basic response.java class. Okay, because we will show all the responses on at this form. Okay, on this form. So and we'll also return on this form. Okay, so just write base response, basic response, and then add block. Okay, and inside add block, so before this I'm going to use this block service. Okay, block service here, so just write public block service and then block service, and just create constructor of this block service, because we will send all the request which is coming from Postman or application into this block service, and the block service will send the data to block service IMPL, and inside this block service IMPL we will write all the logics. Okay, so here we will get the data in request mapping, and the first data would be, sorry, just remove this and create constructor of this block service. Okay, so just click on this yellow bulb and then select this generate constructor, and then just choose this and click on this OK button. So you will see uh, one constructor added here, and after this I'm going to work on this function add block. So in the add block we will get two parameters. Okay, first parameter would be the file in the form of form data, and in the second parameter we will get as a string. We will send JSON from our Postman, and we will get this that JSON in the form of string here. Okay, and we will use that string. Okay, so just write request mapping here, and then we will use multi-part file and then blog image. Okay, so here I am going to use request param. Okay, a request param, and just mention the name of a request param, so blog underscore image here, and one more parameter would be like at the rate request param, and in the second param blog underscore data. Okay, and this will be the type of string. Okay, so just write blog data here, and you can see we are getting error, so we have to return this. So firstly I'm going to use this basic response here, so just write basic response and then basic response. Okay, and after this I'm going to use try catch block, and here in the catch section just write e dot print stack trace. Okay, so we will print every errors here, and in the try section I'm going to use model blog model equals to null. Okay, and here we will use basic response, but before this I am going to use blog model equals to, firstly we will change this uh, string to our model. Okay, so we will get all the data in the form of string, and we will convert this string to this model. Okay, so just write so firstly I'm going to use object mapper here. Okay, so object mapper, and then just pass this object mapper here. Okay, so I'm also using object mapper, and just pass this object mapper here, and then we can use this object mapper to convert this string to model. Okay, so here we will use object mapper dot read values, and read values takes two parameter. First parameter would be this block data, and the second parameter would be blog model dot class. Okay, this is the original data, and which we are going to convert this to this blog model dot class. Okay, and here we will use basic response equals to and now we will send this all data inside this blog service class. Okay, so blog service dot add blog, and now we have no any method inside this blog service. So firstly I'm going to show you this blog service, no methods available here, and now here just pass two parameter. First parameter would be blog model, and the second parameter would be this image. Okay, so just pass this blog image here, and then write semicolon here. Okay, and after this we have to return this base response, where we are getting this both data, blog model data and blog image data. So just write return here, and then new, and then response entity. Okay, and the response entity will take two parameter. first parameter would be basic response, and the second parameter would be http status dot okay. Okay, so our method code is completed. Now we are getting one error, add blog error, because we have no method. So firstly I'm going to create one method, so just click on this and then you will get this yellow bulb. So you will see this create method add blog model option, so just click on this, then you will see this error resolved. Now I'm going to save this class and just open this blog service, then you will see this one method added here, and after added here you will see in the blog service impl class we are getting error. Okay, we are getting error because this is the interface class and we have implemented here. Okay, and when we are implementing according to interface rule, when we are implementing and if any method is available here, then we have to override that method. If we are not overriding that method, then you will get the error. Okay, so just click on this and then you will get this yellow bulb, then select this yellow bulb and click on this add unimplemented method. So now, okay, so now you will see one method added here. Okay, overridden here. Okay, so we have successfully passed this data from here. Okay, and you can see here we are also passing this data from this service blog service, and we are getting this data here. Okay, in the add blog service impl.java. So now I am going to remove this all codes inside this basic response. And one more thing I forgot to add, that here we have to write request, which type of request this API is. Okay, so just a post mapping, so I'm going to use post mapping request here, and then so this is the add blog API. Okay, which we are creating. So and this is the method. Okay, so inside this I'm going to pass endpoint URL. So endpoint URL will be add blog. You can write any endpoint here. Okay, and this is the method. So just open this blog service impl.java class, and then here we will use basic response, this class. Okay, basic response, and then use basic response, and then again I am using basic response here, and after this we will use try catch block, and then here inside this try catch block I'm going to save the data. Okay, so to save the data just use blog model, and then use blog model here. Okay, so here we will use blog model 2 dot set blog title, and the blog title will get uh, by this blog model. Okay, which we are getting from controller. So just write blog model here, and then write get blog title. Similarly I'll use for this description. Okay, so blog model 2 dot set description, and then write blog model dot get description. Okay, one more thing I forgot to save the image. Okay, so to save the image you have to enter this code. Okay, so just write file here, Okay, so this is the code to upload image. Okay, so here I am going to just copy this whole code, and firstly I'm going to check whether the blog image and blog model is available or not. Okay, so just cut this and then write blog model dot is not equal to null, and blog image dot is empty. If both are not empty, then we will execute this code. Okay, so just paste this code, otherwise we will send error response. Okay, I'm going to reformat this code. So just click on this format document, right click and format document, and this is the code to upload images. So here you can see that in the directory, uh, this is static slash blog images. So we have to create one folder. Okay, so just click on this resources folder. Okay, and after this resources folder, you will get this static folder. Inside this static folder I am going to create one folder where we will store all the images which we are going to upload. So just click on this plus folder. Okay, and here I am going to write blog images. Okay, and inside this blog images I'm going to create one dummy text file. Okay, so abc.text, because it didn't work sometimes, so I'm creating one dummy file. Okay, inside this static folder also I'm going to create one demo file. Okay, and now I'm going to close this. This is only for testing. Okay, not necessary. So just write the folder name here and just cut this and paste below this code. Okay, and one more thing, we have to write here blog2 dot set image, and inside this set image we will use this blog image which we are getting from controller. So just write this here and then get original file name. So we will get the original file name of this file. Okay, with this we will get the path of this file. Okay, and this lines means if we are getting same name of the file inside this blog images folder, then it will replace. Okay, so now I'm going to store this data into database. So we will use this repository to store the database. So I'm using blog model b equals to, then we will use this blog repository dot save, and inside this save we will have to pass this blog model 2. Okay, to save the data, and after saving the data we will print some responses. So we will use this basic response to print the response. So I'm using base response, this base response dot set data, and inside this data we will pass this data which we have saved into the database. Okay, so similarly I'm going to use basic response dot message, and the message would be like blog added successfully. Okay, basic response dot set message, and similarly we will set the status, and the status would be true. So just copy this and I'm going to pass on this else condition. So in the else condition, no data will be there, so I'm going to remove this set data, and in the message I'm going to change the message like no blog added or blog addition failed. Okay, and in the status just pass false. And now I'm going to copy this again and then paste here inside this catch. So just in the message section just write e dot get message, so we will get the exact message why the addition failed. So and in the status section just pass false, and you can see we are getting error here. So I'm going to return this basic response because we are setting all things like status, message, data, etc. So just write a return here and then basic response. Okay, so you can see our errors resolved. Now no errors. Now our next step is to check this API whether it is working or not. So just open this block controller, and firstly I'm going to open Postman and just choose post request because we are using this post request. Here you can see in the block controller, and then just you can see here request mapping is API and our server. Firstly I'm going to run our server. Okay, so now you can see our port is running on port number 9091. Okay, so just open the Postman and write localhost colon and then write your port number. So port number is 9091, and after this we will have to pass the request mapping URL. So this is API. Okay, so this is the API. After this API we will have to pass the endpoint URL. So our endpoint URL of add blog is add blog. So just copy this endpoint URL from here and then paste into our Postman. And in the body section we will have to use form data. So in the form data, sorry, I'm going to use raw data first. Okay, and then select this JSON option, and then just open your blog model class here, and you will see blog title, description and image is there. Okay, so firstly I'm going to use this blog title, blog description, okay, to save into the database. So I'm going to use blog title, and the blog title is like title 1. You can write anything, and in the blog description, okay, so this is the JSON file and we will send this JSON file as a string. Okay, so just copy this, and I'm going to choose this form data, and here I'm going to use blog underscore data, and inside this blog data we will pass this JSON data as string. Okay, so here from here we will send this JSON data and we will accept this JSON data as a string, okay, into our controller. So you can see here we are accepting this as a string block data. Okay, our next parameter is blog underscore image, and this is the type of multi-part file. So just write blog underscore image and just select this as file. Okay, and when you have selected this as file, then click on this select file and then you can choose any file. So I'm going to choose any file. Okay, and now just click on this send button. Okay, so here you can see we are getting some data. Okay, the data is status is true and message blog added successfully, and data here we are getting blog id, title, description, blog image. Okay, so we have successfully added one blog into our database. Now I'm going to check on the MySQL database. Okay, so here you can see this is my localhost php my admin, and this is the blogs table inside this rows career database. And here you can see in the blog description, blog title, and blog image we are getting the data. Okay, similarly I'm going to add another data, so just change another title and another description. Okay, so just write anything and choose another image here. So just I'm going to remove this file and just choose this another file, like I'm going to select this file and click on this send button. So you can see one more data added, and the status is true, message blog added successfully. Okay, and this is the data. And now I'm going to check whether the data is added or not. So you can see here the another data is also added here. And in the blog service IMPL section, in the add blog method, you can see we have recently added data, message, and status. So we are getting this status, message, and data. Okay, and in the data we are getting whole data. Okay, and in the message we are getting this blog added successfully message, and in the status we are getting this true value. Okay, so our add blog API is working fine. Now I'm going to move on another API, and that API will be like all blocks. Okay, so I'm going to create one API. So the method would be like get mapping. Okay, and the endpoint I'm going to write like all blocks. Okay, and just write one more method here, public response entity, and the data type would be like basic response, and then get all blocks, and not getting any parameter. Okay, so I'm not going to write anything here. And inside this function I'm going to use basic response, and then basic response, and then we will use this try catch block. And inside this catch block I'm going to use e dot print stack trace, and inside this try just use basic response equals to, and we will call the method. Okay, so we will create one method inside this blog service. So just copy this blog service and paste here, and then write get all blocks. So this method is not available inside this blog service class, so we will create the method. Okay, and here I'm going to return response entity, and new response entity, and new response entity takes two parameters. First parameter would be basic response, and the second parameter would be like http status dot okay. Okay, why I'm getting this error I'm going to check. Okay, Actually, I was getting error due to this request entity. We have to use response entity here, okay? And now after return, just use this new response entity, and then here in the first parameter we will use this basic response, and the second parameter we will use http status dot ok. Okay, and now you can see no errors now, and one errors available here because this method is not created inside this block service class. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this and then click on this yellow bulb and then create method. So just click on this, so you will see no errors now and error resolved. Okay, so just go here inside this block service class and you will see one method here. Okay, and when it is added, then you will get error inside this block service impl.java class. Okay, so we need to override that class which is added into this service class. Okay, get all blocks. So just click on this error and then click on this yellow bulb and then add unimplemented methods. Okay, so now here you will see one method overridden here, and the method name is get all blocks. So finally I am going to use basic response here, and then basic response, and after this we will use try catch, and inside try catch I'm using list because we have to display list of all blocks. Okay, so and the list type will be the block model. Okay, and here we will use this blog repository. Okay, so blog repository dot find all, so we will get all the data which is available into the blogs, which is available into the blogs table. Okay, these all data. So now here we have to import this list, so just import this list, and here we will use if all blogs dot is empty, then we will write exclamatory sign here. Okay, if it is not empty, then we will show all the list of the blocks, otherwise we will show error response. Okay, so here we will use this basic response dot set data, and the data would be like call blocks, and basic response dot set message, and here we will enter all blocks. Basic response dot set status, and the status will be true. Okay, and in the else condition similarly we will copy this, and here in the message we will use no blocks, and in the status just write false. Just copy this again and paste here inside this cache, and instead of this message we will use this e dot get message to get the original message. Okay, and here the status is false, and now I'm getting this error, so just return this basic response here and just check this API whether it is working or not. So just go here inside block controller, and this is the method of get. So just copy this endpoint URL, and now I'm going to so the method is get, and the endpoint URL is all blocks. Now I am going to hit the send button, so we will get all the blocks. So we have two blocks, title 1 and title 2. Okay, we are getting all blocks, so our API is successfully working, no errors now. Now I'm going to move to another API. Okay, so I'm going to create one more another API, and the API would be like all blocks by ID. Okay, so after this URL we will pass ID of the block and we will get the particular ID. Okay, so here we will pass the ID after this all blocks endpoint URL, and the method name I'm going to change get block by ID, and then copy this and paste here. Okay, and here we will use integer ID at the rate path variable, because we will get this ID into our path after this all block. After this path variable we will use integer and we will get the ID in the form of integer, so here we will use this ID. Okay, and we will pass this ID here also on this method get block by ID. Okay, and you can see we are getting error, so I'm going to click on this get block ID and then click on this yellow button and then create method. So you can see error resolved, and just go here inside this block service class and then you will see this ID is passing here. And now I'm going to close this block service after save, and then open this block service impl file, and then you will get error, so we will have to override this method. So just click on this add unimplemented method, and then here you will see one method overridden. Okay, and now I'm using basic response here, and then new basic response, then we will use try catch block here, and inside try I am going to firstly check whether the data is available or not into the database. Okay, so we will use optional here, just import this with java util. Okay, optional, and then here we will pass block model and then my block. Okay, and here we will use this repository. Okay, blog repository, so just pass this blog repository here and then find by id, and then pass your id here which we are getting from controller. Okay, this id. So after this we will check my blog dot is present. If it is available, then we will use blog model dot, okay, blog model equals to, and then we will pass this my blog dot get, so we will get the information of this present blog. Okay, if it is available, and if it is not available, then we will show the error message. Okay, so here we will use this basic response dot set data, and inside this data we will pass this blog model which we are getting. Okay, and after this basic response dot set message, and here we will use blog details. You can add any message. Okay, basic status, and the status would be true. Okay, So just copy this message and status and then paste inside this else condition, and here just write no block details and the status would be false. Just copy this message and status again and paste here inside this cache, and instead of this message we will use this e dot get message. We will show original message, okay. And here we are getting error, so I'm going to return this basic response, okay. So our next API is also completed. Just check this whether it is working or not. So just save these all codes, and then here in the Postman, just you can see here in blog id 1 the title is title 1 and blog id 2 title 2, okay. So just I'm going to pass 2, okay, and then hit this send button. So you can see here we are getting the data of blog id 2, okay. Now I'm going to pass 1 here and then click on the send button. So you can see here we are getting the data of blog 1, okay, blog id 1. So this API is also working fine, okay. Now our next step is to create update blog API, okay. So just copy this add blog, okay, and then paste here and just change this update blog, and here I'm going to also change. So just copy this, and here we will also change, okay, update blog, and then you can see we are getting this error. So just create this method into blog service class. So just here okay, and now just open this blog service impl class, then you will get the error. So just click on this yellow button and then add unimplemented method. Then you can see here one method added here, one method overridden here, okay. And then here I'm going to remove these all and then write basic response equals to new basic response, okay. So firstly I'm going to check whether the current data is available or not, then we will update, okay. So just write optional, okay, and model check blog, okay, and here we will use blog repository, and then click on this find id, and then here inside this find id we will use this blog model dot get blog id, okay. So we will also send the blog id, okay, from Postman, and then write if check blog dot is present. If the data is already present, then we will only update, otherwise we won't update, okay. So just cut this and wrap inside this try catch block, okay. And here we will use blog model and then b equals to check blog dot get. So we will get the details of this blog, okay. And then we will use blog b dot set title, and then we will use this blog model dot get blog dot title, and similarly we will pass blog description, and then we will use blog model dot get description, Okay, and just copy this file upload section, okay, from add blog method and then paste here. Okay, and then paste here. Okay, so now, okay, so after this description we will use blog b dot set image, set blog image, and then we will use blog model dot, no, we will use blog image dot get original file name here. Okay, and after this we will update this. Okay, so we will use blog model here, and then blog model 2, and then we will use blog repository dot save. Okay, and we will have to pass this p, okay, this blog where we have we set all the titles, description, and images. Okay, and now when it is updated, then we will show responses and data and status. Okay, so here we will use basic response dot set data, and in the data we will pass this block model 2 which is updated. Okay, and here we will use basic response dot set message, and in the message we will show mess blog updated successfully. Similarly, we will use basic response dot set status, and the status would be true. Okay, and then copy this message and status and just paste here inside this else condition, and blog updation failed, just change the message. Okay, and the status would be false, and then copy this status and message both, and then paste here inside this cache block. Okay, and here instead of this message we will use this e dot print e dot get message. Okay, and just right click and then format the code. It is not needed, but you can. Okay, so now I'm getting one error. Okay, so we didn't return, so we have to return this. So return basic response. Okay, so now you can see no errors. Now I'm going to update any blog. Okay, so just save this code from all classes, and this is the endpoint URL, so I'm going to copy this and just open any post request. Okay, add blog API, and then replace this with update blog. Okay, and in the body section you will see blog data and blog image, and in the blog data I'm going to pass one more parameter. So the parameter is blog underscore id, and the id is like 2. Okay, so in the blog data I am passing blog underscore id as 2 because we are going to update this blog id 2. Okay, and the blog title I am going to change this title round to title 2, and description round to description 2. Okay, here in the phpMyAdmin you can see in the blog id 2 we have blog description 2, and the blog title is title 2. Okay, so I am changing this to title ram and description ram. Okay, so now I'm going to select any file from here. Okay, so just I'm going to select any file. So you can see we have blog data and blog image, and we are going to update the blog. So just click on the send button. So you can see blog updation failed. Okay, why it is failed, I'm going to check. Okay, the parameter would be blog id. Okay, and then click on the send button. So you can see blog updated successfully. Okay, blog updated successfully, and the blog title is title ram and description ram, and these all are updated. So I'm going to check here also. So now this is description 2, title 2, and now I'm going to refresh this. So you can see here description now ram, title ram. So we have successfully updated blog, and our update blog API is working successfully. Okay, so our next step is to create delete blog API. So just copy this get all blog by id API function. Okay, and then paste below this update blog. Okay, and then here we will change the name of the endpoint URL. So delete blog by id. Okay, and after this we will write id, and then just copy this delete blog by id and paste here also, and paste here also. You can also take any another name here also. Okay, but I am using same. Okay, so you can see we are getting error inside this delete blog id, because we this function is not created in the inside this blog service class. So just click on this bulb icon, and then click on this create method. Then you can see here then you can see here error resolved. And now I am going to check inside this blog service. One method is added, delete blog by id added, and we are passing id here. And after this we will get error inside this blog service impl.java class. So we will have to override that method. Okay, so just click on this add unimplemented method. So you will get one method here. Okay, so firstly I'm going to use basic response here, and then new basic response, and then we will use try catch block. And inside this try catch block, firstly I'm going to check whether the blog is available or not. If the blog is available, then we will only delete the blog. Okay, so here we will use optional, and then blog model, and then here check blog, and then we will use blog repository dot find by id, and then you need to pass the id which we are getting from the controller or from the Postman. Okay, so I'm going to check blog dot is present if it is available. Okay, if the blog is available, then we will use blog model here, and then blog model, and then just write this check blog. Okay, dot get. So with this we will get the whole information of this blog which we are going to delete. Okay, and now I am going to use blog repository dot delete. Okay, and inside this delete we will have to pass this blog model. Okay, and when it is deleted, then I'm going to set some message. Okay, so we will set message inside this basic response. So basic response dot set data. Firstly I'm going to set the data which we have deleted, and then pass basic response dot set message. Inside this message we will have to pass blog deleted successfully. Okay, And after this message you can also set status, and the status would be true. So just copy this status and message and paste inside this else condition. Okay, and then here in the else condition, if you are not getting block into the database, then we will set block deletion failed. Okay, and just copy this, but before we need to change the status as false, and then copy this and just paste here inside this catch block. Okay, so here in the instead of this message I'm going to print original message. So just write e dot get message and the status would be false. So our API is also ready, but before this we have to return this basic response here also. Okay, now our method is completed, our code is completed. Now I'm going to check this delete block API. Okay, so just copy this endpoint URL from this block controller and then just open any get a request. Okay, and then paste your endpoint URL here. And now I'm going to delete this second number block. Okay, so you can see we have 1 and 2 block. Firstly I'm going to delete this uh, 2 block. You can delete any block. Okay, so just click on this send button, then you can see here block deleted successfully, and we are getting the block information which we have deleted and the status is true. And now I'm going to check into the local host. So just I'm going to refresh, so you can see one block deleted successfully. And again I'm going to add, sorry, delete one more block. The ID is 1, so just click on the send button, so you will see the block is deleted successfully. So our delete block API is also working fine, and we have successfully completed our CRUD application. Okay,